Good morning, everyone. My name is Wang Feng. Today, I want to share my understanding of a famous quote from Sangzhu, written 2,500 years ago. Now, an army may be likened to water, for just as flowing water avoids the height and hastens to the lowlands, so an army avoids strength and strikes weakness. In Chinese, we say avoid the strong, attack the weak. Let me show you how this ancient wisdom applies to modern business. Let me start with a question. Why do industry leaders often fail when the market changes? The answer is the sunk cost trap. Think about this. When you are stuck in traffic, you never see drivers leave their cars and run home. Why? Because the car represents money already spent. They cannot give it up easily. Companies face the same problem. Kodak once controlled 70% of the global film market. However, when digital photography emerged, Kodak could not abandon its film business. The company went bankrupt in 2012. Nokia dominated the mobile phone market, but failed in the smartphone era. Blockbuster had 9,000 video rental stores, but were ultimately destroyed by Netflix. These giants share a common story. Yesterday's advantages has become today's burden. This is what Sangzhu warned us about. The key is to identify your competitors' weak points and target them, not their strengths. Let me share 3 companies that successfully applied this strategy. First, BYD's value chain attack traditional car companies buy batteries from suppliers. Batteries cost 40% of an electric car's total cost. BYD chose a different path. The company controls everything from lithium mass to battery production. This reduced battery costs by 30 to 40%. In 2023, BYD sold 3.02 million new energy vehicles, more than Tesla's 1.81 million. BYD did not compete with traditional car makers in automotive engineering, where they had over 100 years of experience instead. BYD changed the rules of competition. The company moved the battlefield from engineering to battery economics. This is a classic avoid and strength strike weakness. Second, Grab's ecosystem attack traditional taxi companies own their cars. They hire drivers and rental centers. These fixed costs make expansion expensive. Grab built a digital platform instead. The company connects independent drivers with passengers. Grab does not own any cars, but gains valuable data that traditional companies cannot collect. More importantly, Grab adapted to local markets. The platform accepts cash payments and includes motorcycle taxis, which Uber's standard model did not support. In 2018, Grab bought Uber's Southeast Asian business. Grab did not attack traditional taxi companies at fleet management, their strong point. Instead, Grab changed the nature of competition from asset ownership to data-driven margin efficiency. Third, Huawei's constraint-driven innovation attack. In 2019, U.S. sanctions cut off Huawei's access to Google services and advanced chips. Huawei did not try to break through directly. Instead, the company focused on module 14nm chips that Chinese factories could produce with existing equipment. Huawei invested $23 billion to develop Harmonious. The company first launched it in the Chinese market, then expanded overseas. The sanctions accidentally accelerated China's supply chain independence and reduced long-term foreign dependence. Huawei accepted short-term disadvantages to build long-term repositioning capabilities. This reflects Zhangzhu's principle of building strategic momentum. These three cases teach us one key lesson: a successful avoid strength like weakness. Strategy is not about small improvements. It is about changing the game rules. BYD changed the cost competition dimension. Grab changed the business model of transportation. Huawei opened a new path and blocked it. Based on these cases, I created a simple framework. Companies face two key variables. First, how much money did they invest that they cannot take back? Second, how fast is the market changing? When a company invests heavily in one technology, but the market shifts quickly, this creates danger. Traditional car markets invested billions in fuel engine technology. Just as the market shifted to electric vehicles, they fell into this trap. On the other hand, when companies remain flexible and markets change rapidly, opportunities emerge. BYD, Grab, and Huawei all those in this type of environment. How do you apply this framework? 3 steps. First, identify where your competitors have invested significant resources that they cannot easily change. Second, judge whether market changes and reducing the value of these investments. Third, look for the space between where your competitor is locked in and where the market is actually moving. That space is your opportunity. This is a systematic method of avoid strength weakness. For Malaysian companies, the standardization of multinational corporations is actually their weakness. Take Hala Food as an example. Malaysian companies should not compete with giants like Naso in mainstream markets. Instead, they should build specialized halal supply chains to serve 2 billion Muslims worldwide. Malaysia's certification authority and cultural understanding are advantages that multinational corporations cannot easily copy. Success requires 3 capabilities: an intelligence system to identify competitor weak points, a mobilization mechanism for quick strategic shifts, and strategic patience to accept short-term costs for long-term advantages. Success in competition does not depend on how many resources you have. It depends on whether you can flow like water, avoid your opponent's strengths, and attack their weakness. This is a timeless wisdom of Zhangzhu's avoid strength, strike weakness. Thank you.